probably been a month or two since my last video, so I thought today I'd go through all my fish tanks. A little tour of the fish room today. So right here in front of me, I'm going to start with my 55 gallon. So it is in the wall leading into the fish room. Right now it's primarily just adult male guppies, so a lot of holdbacks, kind of backup breeding stock, and just some of my more favorites of the groups. So there's some of the males there. I have a few pairs of rams in here. So there's German blue rams. There's at least 2 or 3 pairs in here. And tons of snails currently. I have to get some loaches in here to help clean them out. But they're not bothering anything as of right now. Once I need these guys to start spawning more, I will have to get those snails out so they don't eat all the eggs every time. But now I'll go ahead and go on in and I'll show you the rest. So coming in here now, I have my 20 longs. So I've showed this all before, but it's 4 high, 4 wide. Jumps into my 10 gallon tanks into the 40s. And there's a few more tanks around the corner there that I've added to. But I'll go ahead and just walk through each tank and kind of just show you what's going on. Up here, there's some German blue rams. I had some gold rams. They didn't do that well though. I only got 6 of them. I probably should have ordered a dozen or so when I got them on Aquabid. But that tank is ready for, I'm probably going to put a pair of angelfish in there. Let me know what you guys think. If it's high up, it's hard to see, so I only like to do a few fish in the top tanks. Over here, I've got a proven pair of rams. Sorry for the glare. So there's German blue rams there, is one of the males. And then I have it divided with another pair here. And they've both spawned for me and I have liable fry from them. And I'll keep going to the left here. So this tank, let me pause 1 second, I'm going to watch this glare. Okay, it's a little better without that light on. Up here is the discus. So I have some blue diamonds and then some blue like turquoise crosses. Growing some of these guys out. Hopefully I can get them to pair off. But obviously you can see they are tough to grow. So like you can see the guy in the middle there in the back, he's a lot larger. And these are all siblings. Not the blue diamonds, but the rest of them. So there's some smaller guys there that aren't just doing as well. Tank down here, I have some angelfish. They're eating really well, always really responsive. They're like platinums and marbles. And keep going through here in the 20s. Tank here, German blue rams. I've been losing some here and there in this tank from like almost from overcrowding. But hopefully I get some hardier fish in the long run. So kind of just letting these guys do their thing. I do water changes once a week. Moving over here is a all female guppy tank. So I had a few groups of breeding that I had that I didn't want to keep breeding, but the females are still of size and they were still pregnant. So this kind of is like a drop tank where I put all the females in here and put everyone's who's still pregnant till babies, and I'll catch the babies out. Kind of show some of these guys off. I'll zoom in there, here and there. Moving down here. This tank I just caught a lot of fish out and cleaned the sponge filter, so it's a little cloudy. But this is all juvenile male guppies. So not a whole lot to see there right now, it's real cloudy. And then the next tank besides it is the same thing, juvenile females. So I try separating these guys at a young age, so if I want to breed them that they're not already pregnant. So here's just a variety of guys in here. A lot of these will go for sale. I'm gonna actually hit that light back on also, see if I can get a better picture. That's a little better. So you can see these guys in there. Dropping it down to the tank beneath it. Same thing with female guppies. These are some more of the adults. Go zoom in on them. So this is technically like my sale tank. Here and there, if I have any in here that are exceptional, I'll take them back for breeding. Which are some nice ones in here, but I've already gone through. Really working on the color for the female guppies. It's always nice to get nice male guppies, but the females, I always try to focus on them too. Hopefully I can keep bringing that color from their tail. Or keep working our way over here. This is the male tank of adults. So I have some sunsets in here. There's some blues, like a tuxedo blue. There's some cobra tails. I don't know if I see in here, but I have some yellow half blacks. Some of these males are always really nice. And then tank to the left of this, I have, these are all new. So I have mollies and platies. Right now I'm kind of just quarantining. I've got them from a friend who I know as clean fish, but you never know, anytime bring anything new. So a week or two I skipped water changes so I wouldn't mix hoses. And I did run some meds through them. They're all looking really good. I even got some fry in there. Next tank over here. So these are germ blue rams. I have a few angels in here. Really nice koi over there. He's been passing everybody else up and growing really well. He was about the size of the rams when I first put him in this tank. A few more angels in the back. Nice, a lot of nice rams in this tank. So starting to pair off because it's not a very crowded numbers. I mean, there's still a lot of fish in here, but there's enough space that they are starting to pair off. You'll watch these guys kind of show some displaying to the females. Some nice fish in there. And all the way to the bottom tank. So this tank here I have a lot of blue guppies. So they're like a delta tail blue. They're nice, almost like a purplish. The females that are really nice in this strain. So that adult female, some of the adults in there are just the ones I bought. And all the babies are ones I've gotten since I've bought them. So they're still the first generation since I bought them. So none of the breeders in this tank are my offspring, I guess you could say, or babies that I grew out. Will be soon though. I even got some long-coon bristlenose plecos. So those are fish that I've had from fry and I've been growing out. They're actually het, albino, and super red. So be curious to take those back and cross into some nice, maybe into some more reds in the future. Now I'll have to go through and catch some of these babies out later, because it's definitely overdue. This next tank here, this is kind of just an assortment of fancy guppies. So this female here is a very nice color in my opinion. So she's like a half black blue. You can see she's getting chased right now. And then I had a few males I had that had really nice top fins. So if he'll display for us, I don't know if he will or not. There he is. Not only their back fin and their siding I liked, but their top fins. So I pulled a few of those aside, and I put some just assorted females in here that had nice color. So I'm gonna see what I can get out of these guys. I would like to kind of almost start something new here, hoping to get more females like that one getting chased. Maybe even add some more females this tank after this video, so she's not getting chased so bad. As you can see, there are fry in there. I should show these too. There's bristlenose plecos in here, so dirty on the bottom because I feed so heavily. But those are all baby plecos. So obviously there's some medium size. There is the adult in the cave, but you can see all those little babies. They're probably about 2 weeks old now. And the male should be right in that cave. See the older generation on the wood there, and all those babies. So this tank too, very similar setup. I have guppies and plecos. So these are like a yellow cobra guppy, kind of an assortment. But same thing, plecos in here. So there's a baby back there if you can see it or not. These tanks, the bottoms get dirty very quick. Normally I just use a pump to pump my water out. I do about 50 to 75% water change. But just the other day I went through the gravel vac and actually got a lot of that waste off the bottom, and there's still a lot left. This pair is cool. It's an albino pair. See those fry? They actually have albino and common babies. So they're a pretty valuable pair in my opinion. They're gonna have 50 to 60, 70 babies at a time, and I usually get about half and half of each. So you can see the female down there hiding under the sponge. There's one of the babies that's actually getting pretty big now, and there's even a darker one over here too if he moves for me. But that's that tank there. And then this is my third pleco breeding tank. So I have 3 tanks of 20 gallons with guppies and plecos. I feed very heavily on algae wafers, so that's very important with the baby plecos, that they never really take off unless you feed them early on. Like any fish, but they need, if you miss a day of food, you'll lose them almost instantly. It's very, very rapid how fast you'll lose them if they don't have a surplus of food. You can see there's some babies on the glass here. And these are long fins. So there's an older guy there, and then on the front glass is a younger one. And about 25% to half these are long fins. The adult is a albino long fin, and the female is an albino, and I have a common here, so it kind of mixes it up. But initially I had a super red female in this tank. She did pass away, but I have, like I showed before, some offspring from her that are pretty much a breeding size now. And you can see just tons of guppies in here. The heavy feeding of the wafers really lets the guppies take off too, because they never eat their fry because there's so much food. I'm going to pause it for 1 second, then we'll go over and keep looking at the 10 gallons. So this 10 gallon rack, it's going to be 3 up there, and then I have 4 high as well. So there's a total of 12 10 gallon tanks here. This top tank is going to be hard to see, but I do have some orange shrimp in here. See if I can spot one for you guys. There's a guy up front. So I had these in a 20 gallon tank upstairs, but really wanted to keep condensing my tanks to only being in the fish room, just because they get out of hand. So I have orange shrimp in there. I took 12 of my best. This tank up here is like a F2. So I have blue half blacks guppy breeding, but some of their offspring were actually like a cobra blue. So I took the cobra ones and I moved them into this tank, the nicest ones of them. And the rest that were still the blue half black, I kept those because I want to continue to keep those kind of a pure strain. But these guys, I figure while I have them, I can work on them. This tank here is loaded with guppies. These are all male guppies. So I moved them when they were young males, but most of them are almost adults by now. It's just a 10 gallon tank too, so do large water changes once a week, but really trying to hardy up my fish in general. Don't want them being too fragile. So there's those guys in there, and I'm about to move over that 20 gallon. That was cloudy. Once it clears, I showed you I cleaned up today. Now next rack down here, these are my yellow cobra guppies. So you can see some of the males up front here. This is one of my most basic strains because I just bought these off in pet stores, but it's also one of my favorites. So the females I think look really nice with this cobra tail and even some color in that top fin, and the males always catch my eye. Like I said, pretty basic. You can find those in most pet stores, but they get consistent colors is my kind of goal here, and really bring the color up the body of the females. Moving over here, the Delta Reds. So these are all my breeding guppies, like if I didn't say that already. Usually have 2 males to 6 females, but it can really vary. If I have a lot of them and I'm keeping the water clean, I definitely ramp those numbers up and ramp my feeding up. And I have some plecos in here as well growing out with these guys. They help, like I said, with feeding algae wafers, and only a few plecos, they'll grow really well. And also those guppy females can go feed on those wafers all day. This tank I don't have a whole lot of babies in. Most of these tanks I'll go through periodically and just scoop the babies out, leaving the parents. But these guys have been slowing down a little. Need to kind of make sure I got good females in here and males. But these are my yellow half blacks. Another one of my favorite strains. I did buy these from someone, but I'm probably multiple generations in it. These are all my fish. And I do just acrylic yarns in here. If I've showed these off before, and I am more particular. I'll do the same color or similar colors per the color of the fish. So I have the reds with the reds, yellows with the yellows, and that really helps the babies hide there so they don't eat all the fry. So you don't have to constantly catch females out and divide them and put them in breeder nets and etc. Down here are those half blacks, blue half blacks. Some of these males are kind of beat up, so this is my older generations. I already do have a second generation going in the tank to the left of it, but trying to keep the best females each time, and then obviously have a few nice males. They're nice, but they're nothing too crazy right now. I do want to get some new males for this group and start a new colony. Over here is kind of the ones I favor a little bit better. So some nicer males in here, I'd say. Females are all good. They're still relatively young. About the same size as these guys, but a lot younger. So they're more in their prime for breeding right now. And then down here I have my red snakeskins. Another nice strain. I got these online probably 9 months ago now, and they've been going really strong, and I've added to the groups over time. And there's some more plecos in there as well, you can see in the back. These guys are really nice for having good females in my opinion. So you got your males, and then the females are almost just as nice. And hopefully just keep getting better with just being selective. I would like to help the males out. Their tails get too long and their backs aren't strong enough, I think. Yeah, when they swim they look good, but if I get them to hold their fins better, that'd be more ideal. And then dropping down here, this is kind of a random tank. I have a ornate biker fish. People pronounce it multiple ways, but he's very large. He's almost 10-12 inches by now. I don't know if it'll come up for me. Sometimes he kind of does his own thing. The tank next to here, I have some angelfish. A little cloudy for me cleaning the sponge today. These are all about a month and a half old. I don't want to spook them, but there they go. And this room is heated, so these bottom tanks stay a few degrees cooler. Obviously the angelfish would like to be a little bit warmer, so I'll probably end up moving them to a larger tank here soon and higher up on this rack. In this tank here I have some zebradanias. Just bought these as feeders, but I intended to grow them out and maybe possibly breed these guys. Always looking for new projects and things, so if I could learn how to breed danias, which is supposed to be one of the easiest ones, that'd be a cool fish to do and very popular. That wouldn't be a problem selling, even though they're not very expensive. Moving over here to this 40 gallon. So this is kind of like a colony tank I'm trying to breed some rams in. You can see over here one of the males already camping out in the flower pot. So 40 gallon tank, I got one sponge filter running in here, a bunch of mops. They are relatively new to this tank, probably been a week, maybe 2 weeks. So these are all fish I've grown up and kept from breeding. Hopefully I get some pairs in here and I can get some liable eggs I can tumble and hatch. So here's those guys. Tank above here is another 40 gallon, and this is loaded with guppy. So what I'll do is I'll catch a guppy fry out of each breeder tank, and I keep just netting them into this tank. So by moving the fish, they are a little bit hardier over time. They keep doing better because they experience different tanks and different water. They'll grow faster in the 40 gallon because it's bigger than the 10s, and then it also helps you not crossbreed any of the babies to the parents. They think they're getting fed. So I do have to go through there and catch all the males and females out. It takes a little bit of time, but I did one tank today, and this will be the next project on a off day. And then this top tank here, I have some more guppies. And believe it or not, this tank was just as full as that tank beneath me. But we had problems with our tap water. I did a large water change on all my tanks. This tank and 2 others did not handle it well. Probably from an excess of chloramines or something in the water and not enough dechlorinator. And I lost lots of fish out of this tank, but there are still some ones that made it. So a lot of the larger guys in there are the ones that pulled through. And I'll probably keep most of these guys back for breeding because they're obviously a lot harder than the unfortunate ones that did not make it. And keep moving over here, I do have a couple more tanks here, and these are newer from last time I've showed. So I have a 55-gallon tank here just on the floor. Another tank I lost a lot of fish out of. I had peacock cichlids I was growing out from a buddy of mine that breeds them. But they did pass away with that water change, and instead I got some gold rams in here. So I've done the German blue rams for about a year or so now, but I've always wanted to jump in to do the golds and the electric blues. But I don't want to do too much at once, so I've taken my time, but now I have some golds here. I bought a dozen, I think I lost 2 of them. But hopefully I'll get some of these guys to pair off, acclimate to my water, and get some fry from these guys. And I can get more of a variety in my rams. They are nice fish, I like these golds. Keep working my way down here. So I have 2 29s here stacked. The bottom tank has some sub-adult to adult angelfish. So I have marbles, almost like a half black, some paribas, some albinos over here. These guys are actually a pair, I believe, these 2 albinos. They always show a little bit of aggression to the other guys. And they might go in that top 20 I talked about before. So they've been in my tanks long enough that they are used to my water. The fish don't do that well the first month or 2 in my opinion. Anytime you move them from someone's water to yours, they need to acclimate over, they need to get used to it. They have to eat food and just get used to your water changes, and they definitely have done that by now. So now that they're stable in my water, I think I'm going to move them and try to pair them off and keep growing the rest of these guys out. Tank above here, I have some German blue rams. So these guys are all just for sale pretty much. So whether I sell any of these pairs online or I take them to the local store, handful of German blue rams here. I had a lot of hiding places in here the other day, but I think they get very skittish with all the hiding places. So whenever there's enough in here, you can almost just group them up. So that's what I'm doing today. Probably taking a few days to color up more because there are just a different tank and different decorations. Well, lack of decorations per se. There's a nice male there though. Female. And this is the larger male. And then that's all my tanks, but if I keep going here to the left, I do have some fry. So to start the guys, I just tumble them in a container. In here are some German blue ram fry. Maybe 10 or so. Over here there's a couple larger ones, definitely ready to go into a tank. Probably 4 or 5 in there. That was a real small spawn, but I just kind of left them in there. I got some tumbling beneath here. And then on the other side here, I actually have a breeding rack for, not really breeding rack, but just a reptile rack where I do my leprechauns in, which are over here. If you guys want to see more of them, I always can show them off at a different time. But I actually had an empty one here I was trying to sell, so instead of selling it and just sitting here empty, I do have some fry in these. So this here is probably about 2 gallons of water. It's like a 15-quart tub. I just have an air stone in there. Probably spot clean these daily or every couple days with this turkey baster, and then maybe once a week or 2 I'll dump some of the water out and top it off. So these are all German blue rams, so probably 30 or so in this tank container. And then same thing beneath it, so I'll close them almost all the way, leave like an inch so I can go through and feed them. And then this bottom one, I close it more just to hold the air stone, but there's probably about 50 or so in here. I mean, I haven't counted these, I'm just kind of guessing. But these are all German blue rams as well. Hopefully if I get these guys, like I used to have these rams breeding a lot more consistently, believe it or not, because these guys are probably a month old. it'd be nice to get them going every few weeks so you can kind of space out the ages of them. But there's 2 spawns of rams there, and they've been doing really well just in that water. With an airstone, small water changes frequently, and I really do think it makes the fish that much hardier, and it'll make the future owners, or whoever ends up buying these fish, it'll do a lot better for them. So hopefully this wasn't too long and I didn't ramble too much, but here's a little once over. So I got the rams here in the containers, my 29s. Get focus for a second. 55 on the floor. Go over to the 40s. And then down through the 10s. And on my 20s here. With the 55 on the wall, I have some fans in here because, like I said, the room is heated. Keep a good circulation. And then I have my brine shrimp over here in the corner. So like I said, it's been a while since I did a video. Thought I'd go through and at least walk through my tanks and give something for you guys. I know I was like watching these kind of videos even when I'm bored. But thanks for watching, guys, and anything else you're looking to see, just comment below. Thanks, guys.